Two, three, one, and we are live on different platforms. I'm just verifying few things. Connection, audio, online, YouTube now. Facebook is online. YouTube is online. And shortly joining on Twitch. Yes. So let's see. Can I? Maybe next time. Or okay. Welcome everyone on my Tuesday weekly live stream, and I'm happy to do it this week again. So thanks for joining. So let's see what I'm just doing a little bit quick thing here. Yeah. So it's yes. So chat font. Can we do it short? Yes, of course. Okay. Okay, everyone, welcome. If you hear my voice or if you see me, just leave a message wherever you're watching. I'm live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm expecting very quiet night today. Busy because I think many people would be watching this DNC stuff. So if and let me put one more stuff here meanwhile. Yeah, I can read your messages if you wanna everybody. Okay, I lost the link. Where it is. Okay, I have to remove it. Maybe is there any way to duplicate? Yes. And I will just edit this guy to my other page, which is Firegarden Music, bandcamp.com. Okay, so these two links are visible right now on the screen. If you wanna check out some stuff, and I'll be sharing my screen as well shortly. So this one is going here. Let's do it maybe. Let's leave this. Okay, what I'm planning to do. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the delay. So I'm expecting very quiet night today. Tonight. What? So it's almost August 18th. So this is my 7th live stream, and I mean time is passing pretty quickly. So my webcam is a little bit on the top, so I'm actually looking at my screen most of the time. But Uh, yeah, what I'm planning to do is tonight I have some work to finish, and I got couple of songs to mix as well. So I'm preparing a new mixing template. So I thought, okay, let me actually uh, go through that. So I have to finish this by tonight, and so I can start mixing tomorrow. And also, like, it's a good way to actually connect with you all and answer your questions if you have any. So I'll be reading your messages as well and comments, and I'll be sharing my screen and maybe going through a little bit of mix preparation that I usually do, like when I start mixing songs. Um, so what I'm going to do tonight is maybe we'll go through like 40-45 minutes, and we'll see like how much we can cover. But mostly it's more me preparing the process of template basically, so I can actually uh, mix all the stuff quicker. So let me share my screen and I'll walk through it. And if you have any questions, just yeah, I might play some guitar, but I'm not sure about it. But I have to finish this work as well. So let me share my screen. So this is my DAW, you can say. I use Logic Pro, and basically in Logic, uh, you can have like different tracks and stuff. So this, I'm actually preparing a new mixing template. The previous one was kind of obsoleted, and when I mixed my latest EP Point Blank, I did few stuff that I'm like now more comfortable doing it. So I'll be adding some tracks and color stuff and routing and all these channels. So if you have any questions, just feel free and to to ping me. Okay, let's start. So the first track is usually a rough mix, whatever the demo or rough the client usually give me, or I have something, I usually put it on this track. And the main channels right now, I have everything. All tracks usually go to a mix bus, and the mix bus actually go to out bus, and then out goes to the stereo. So the mix usually is the first. I can control how much level to feed into my out bus. This is basically my main bus. So on the main bus, usually I have my UAD um, Pultec, for example. Sometimes I have like 100 hertz or something boosting about 2 dB or something, and maybe around 10K boost as well. And I might fine tune later this, but this is my starting point usually. So on the mist bus first, and I add some more plugins as well on the master bus. I'm starting to do it, but usually some of the stuff I leave it for the mastering engineer as well. So, but it helps me to get to the mix and figure out, okay, what I can basically do. So recently I started using the another um, uh, mastering compressor next in the chain. I like this, what this does. So this is a Neve 33609. That's usually these two are my main thing on the mastering plugin. And then I usually have a Q3 uh, from FabFilter, usually doing some minor balancing. So typically, for example, I put the mix general purpose balancing preset here, and it depends. This is my starting point usually. And the stereo channel, I usually put my this plugin called ADPTR. This actually helps me to uh, check with the reference mixes. So for example, I can compare my mix with the reference, how much bass they have and different spectrums, stereo image, and fine tune the frequencies. Okay, how much bass the reference mix has, and so it's basically, you guys not seeing my screen? Why is that? Okay, sorry. So yeah, usually uh, so so I have this plugin on my stereo bus usually, and these two, stereo and out bus, they are always zero. For if I'm doing some kind of mastering, I usually put another plugins like ozone and limiters. Um, but this is my starting point. Mix bus I usually don't put here. It's just for the level, how much to feed into the out bus. So starting with the rough mix actually doesn't go to the mix bus. It's go to the my stereo usually. So I'm just this should go out to my stereo directly. So I can compare without any processing. So let's start creating some tracks for the drums. So for example, usually most probably I have 14 mic drum kits coming into the session, and all these will go to another bus called drums, and drums bus also goes to the mix bus. And in the drum bus usually first is my kick in mic, then kick out mic, then I have kick sample sometimes, then I have snare top, usually one mic, snare bottom, and then I have snare sample. So sometimes I do that. Um, then usually on the overhead sides I have hi-hat, then overhead left, which goes to the left, then OHR, which is right, and then I have room mic. So these are 11 mics, and I missed some toms here, so let's bring these up. So usually I process all the shells first, and then go to the rooms and hi-hat, overheads. So this is tom 1. I If I get like tom double mics on it, like top and bottom, I usually combine them together and then mix tom 2 to tom 3, tom 4. So usually the drum kit behind me, you see it has four toms, and this is like kind of, I think, good enough setup. So the tom 1 usually pan very hard left. Tom 2 is like around 30, 35 maybe. Tom 3 is like 40, 35 plus side, and then tom 4 is like way uh, hard pan. Hi-hat, usually I like drummer perspective, so I usually um, I want basically mixes to sound like you are actually in the music. So hi-hat I usually keep with the right hand, mostly the drum, unless somebody has any specifics about it. Um, Kick samples I usually have different softwares, but these are just the tracks I'm creating right now. So these are my 14 drum kit, and room is usually a mono mic, which I can And the color coding I usually use for my drums are red, so I can see, and the drums out is also same color, so I can see, okay, these are my drums. Mix bus usually I usually I do very fancy pinkish kind of so I can clearly see that do not touch this. So yeah, usually I do like purple or something. So let's go with purple, and same thing with the out bus. It's a little bit darker in it. So let's do dark pink. I think usually pink I usually use for keyboards. So let's do dark purple for the out, and so this is my drum kit setup kind of. So whenever the tracks usually comes, I just drag in, um, and I'll put plugins later. Just I'm starting with the. Let me see if any comments are coming. Not at the moment. Yeah, I mean mainly. The next usually is the bass. So let's create some tracks for the bass, and the bass goes to their own its own bus. And usually I have three tracks with the bass, uh, which is bass amp usually and bass DI. Two tracks for now I'll put in my chain, but yeah, I have sometimes couple of mics on a bass cabinet, and then a direct signal of the bass as well, and depends on the style. I blend them together. So let's start with two, and bass is going to bus its own bus, which I would say bass, and the color usually I do bass is brown, so B for brown. So this is brown. So now I know, okay, what to do different processing on bass, and it usually go through this. Next is my acoustic guitars, you can say. Usually guitars comes later, but let's start with the vocals. In fact, let's start with the guitars. Why not? So acoustic guitars, usually I have two channels. So acoustic, for example, acoustic guitar 1 and acoustic guitar 2. Mostly it depends on the style as well. So sometimes it's two different performances, or sometimes same performances but double track. Uh, so acoustic guitars, usually I do green, a little bit kind of this type of green. So let's do this one. And the acoustic ACT guitars would be the same color. Okay, so these are my guitars, and these should go to the mix bus as well. So I'm just saving my project, so I should right, what next? Electric guitars. So usually yeah, it depends on distorted guitars. I usually have double tracked, and yeah, let's do kind of a two tracks to start with. These are the rhythm guitars. So guitar dist 1, guitar dist 2, Usually, again, I sometimes hard pan, sometimes I just depends on the performance. Uh, and these will be a little bit darker in color. So, so guitar dist. Dist means like distorted in my, you know, yeah, I'm looking for your messages, sipping my coffee. I like multitasking. Okay, reading messages. So these are distorted guitars, and then I have usually clean guitars, couple of tracks. So I do that as well. So guitar clean 1, guitar clean 2, and then again like usually clean guitars also they get a little bit different color. So let's do a little bit lighter, cleaner. GTR cleans. And color coding usually help me to quickly identify what track I'm working with. And then I have couple of tracks for the solos. Usually that's the way I track myself. Guitar solo 1, guitar solo 2, and they get a little bit darker green, you can say. And same thing with here, guitar solo, they get a darker green. This one. Hmm. Okay, so it was this. Okay, so guitar solos are done. So these are usually my guitar tracks, acoustics, couple of distorted guitars, couple of clean guitars, and then couple of solos. And depends. Sometimes I have two different distortion, so I just duplicate that track. Simply like click that and then uh, fine tune my. And every mix is different for me. Usually I don't try to follow a fixed pattern that what I have to do, but it's more of like this is good starting point, save some time. This all work that I'm doing actually is time saving time. So which I usually um, so guitars are done, so let's move to the vocals. So vocals, usually I have lead vocals, couple of tracks. So LV, uh, L, LV main, usually I call it, and then LV double. So usually double track vocals. Uh, Vocals usually I keep the color blue. Um, that's the way I like it. So LV is my main. Uh, and then usually I have 2 or 3 backing vocals. So let's do that. 3 tracks of backing. Usually I do like a falsetto voice, and then I do like very high pitch, and just the regular very low deep voice. So that's that usually how I track vocals. So usually I call it BV1, BV falsetto. Falsetto is usually third is usually I do low. Yeah, depends. So let's do BV1, 2, and 3. So these three are my backing vocals, and they get a little bit more darker color. So BB gets a bit darker blue. Which color I picked? Okay, this one. And lead vocals, usually I go with this. So these are my vocals. BV, for example, usually pan left and right, and then third voice in the center. Again, it depends. If you have multiple harmonies, then I just duplicate the tracks and do the adjustment. A couple of tracks for the keys. For example, keyboards. I usually have pianos, organs, I have pads, strings, and some mellotrons. So usually 5 tracks of keyboards, 5 to 6. So let's put these keys here. And keys are usually in pink color, but I think, yeah, I usually do this type of purple dark stuff. So let's do this. I think we did for audio out the same color. So for keys, let's go the little bit lighter, and I'll change the mixes. Yeah, usually, yeah, let's do this purple for keys, and mix is all a little bit different, and out is a little bit different. So out we can do like do not. Yeah, let's do this hot pink. So these are my keys. So let's start naming the tracks. So these are pianos, then organs, you have pads, you have strings, and then you have extra additional keys. So sometimes it mellotron or something usually I get. And keyboard tracks are usually stereo. So I keep that. And so this is kind of a good starting point. Um, and let's move everything to the mix bus, otherwise it will be a mess. So everything is feeding to this bus 1, which is my mix bus, and from there it depends how much tracks are coming in, and I try not to clip this as well, uh, and I try to keep -6 dB of out, after all my processing. So that will be basically will not allow more digital distortion, and mastering engineer actually have more headroom to play with. Okay, how much? So yeah, anything you want to know about this process? Yeah, it's very boring tonight. So I was not expecting many people to join either way. So I was like, okay, let me get few things done here. So this is kind of a starting point, and now time for like a little bit of facts. So for example, I usually have 3 type of delays for my vocals. Uh, so let's put these effects here, and these effects usually, so you have usually delay slap delay here. Then I have like medium delay and long delay. So medium delay, long delay, Then I have like a reverb, plate reverb, and then you have guitar reverb. So let's first do a little bit of effects for the vocals. So delay medium, and I think you can do a little bit. Okay, so this will be later. Yeah, so delay medium and then delay long. So these are my three main delays, and again they are going into the mix bus. And I'll share what plugins I use. Maybe next week I'll show you my mixing template when it's done. And then I say, okay, my plate reverb here. So these are like kind of feeding depends on the song. So plate reverb is also going to mix bus. Then I have like 4 more channels. So let's create few more new aux. So these are just a sec. Okay, so my guitars usually, for example, has a spring reverb for acoustics. So let's put a spring reverb here. Uh, and then what usually I have like a parallel compression on drums. So it's drum comp, and then usually I have a drum room reverb. So that's drum room. There was a channels. Okay, type and number. View track number. Okay, yeah, this will give me a full 2 level of, so I can delay medium. Why it's not working today? Let's do this. Okay, so usually D room means drum room, and D comp usually means parallel compression to drums. I usually do vocals. Oh, see, I did a mistake. These reverbs should go from the basically from the other channel. So I'll remove these here, and depend on the sound. I usually change the pre-fader and post-fader. It depends on the what how much reverb I need to feel in a song or something. So it's a little bit trial and error. These levels usually also I start very low and then gradually increase, depends on the song. So all these will be going into the mix bus, and drum comp, and then yeah, I usually use parallel compression on vocals, very important. So V comp, and that is going to again mix bus. And also, what I usually do extra stuff for the vocals is I have a special plugin which I call it Vox Brittany. I learned from my favorite mixer, Jens Bogren. I think his name is. He's Swedish. He did a lot of Opeth records and Swedish metal stuff. So I usually have this plugin from Plugin Alliance. It's called Vocal Enhancer, and this does a little bit kind of a little shiny stuff. I don't know you. I don't know why you can't see my screen on. Let me see if I cannot share my screen completely unless I do a desktop sharing. I think I need to figure this out. So yeah, unfortunately you can't see what plugin I clicked on this, but you uh, desktop. Let me no, I did that desktop sharing, but I have to experiment. I mean, I need to show window. No, okay. So there is a plugin called Novel Tech Vocal Enhancer. So I feed a little bit, depends on the how much sharpness or high end I need in the vocal. I feed that into that. So that's one of my. This is my Vox Brittany stuff here, and he actually called that uh, Jens Bogren. Basically, he called this plugin Brittany stuff. So it depends on how much I need to feed it, and parallel compression as well. Uh, so let's start doing some more processing stuff. And I usually do gain staging depend on the tracks I get. So when I put tracks in the template, then I start actually doing the gain staging using the gain in the logic. Sorry. So, right. So what usually I do, my kick and snare also they go for a little bit extra parallel compression, you can say. So I send them to a different parallel comp. So I usually call it kiss crush, kick and snare crush. So it goes to another kind of parallel compression. And usually I usually use this DVX 160 on it. So usually I use this DVX 160 on it. From Wave, uh, vocal compression, I sometimes use Fairchild 660, or sometimes I just do another 1176, depends on the sound I'm going for. So, but I love the warmth from the Fairchild. Drum rooms, usually I use the plugin from Waves. It's not actually a reverb plugin, but CLA unplug. And this plugin has a preset called Broken Levy, which I think kind of giving a Led Zeppelin drum sound. Broken Levy. So I like that. I've used on a couple of drum tracks, and they sound very alive when I use this. And even if drums are kind of not recorded live. They are like sequence drum. This give a little bit more, you know, some some uh, what you can say live feel to it. So I use that. On drum comp, I like 1176s, which uh, which I have here, and I have couple of new versions of 1176s as well, and so I usually flip between them. So these are my four drum comp. For spring reverb, usually I go with the soft tube, but again it depends. So I have this soft tube spring reverb plugin. Uh, Works pretty well. I mean, if you wanna do some uh, ambience and fatten stuff, so I usually use that preset. For plate, usually I do Pro R as well from uh, Fab Filter, and I got recently this new from Universal Audio, which is UAD, and I forgot the name. And I like that plate sound. Yeah, pure plate. Yeah, this guy. So UAD pure plate I have on my plates. Reverb. For delay long, I usually use this Supermassive Valhalla. Very beautiful plugin. And I have the settings called vocals swelling quarters. This works very well, or the ballad setting as well. Delay medium, I have usually have two choices. One, sometimes I use free, basically repeater delay sometimes from Slate. It depends on the sound I'm going for. And also sometimes I put the supermassive in a different, way. Sometimes I use waves, but I usually experiment with the different type of delays. But these are some of my favorites. Echo Boy is another favorite, and so usually I recently I've been using this supermassive from Valhalla, and it's a kind of there is a setting called massive bass ballad vocal. This is a reverb, but it's give me a delay kind of a sound as well. So works for my kind of slab delays. I usually go with Echo Boy um, from Sound Toys, and it has a setting called um, classic slab or something. So yeah, I usually experiment what type of slab delay is working. So right now, just put this. So these are my some of the facts. I usually also put sometimes guitars through another parallel uh, distortion kind of a thing. So usually I call it G para. So it has another like kind of a beef. You can actually it's make a little bit guitar more beefier. So sometimes I go through maybe SSL or something just to push a little bit more or sometimes I use these Tube Screamer and other plugins to give a little bit more, uh, flavor to it. So usually I have this stuff so I can just not overdrive, but maybe play with the tones a little bit. So depend on the song. So I think we are about 45 minutes. Uh, yeah, thanks if you joined today. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of boring, but what I'll do, I'll continue working on it. And you guys can, uh, yeah, and next week I'll probably show you what the complete template looks like. So this will give you a little bit more, you know, a feel that what how the mixing process works for me. Again, I've come to this template through mixed trial and error, and usually these are my starting points. But as soon as I start mixing it, I usually maybe remove complete chain or maybe just play with different presets and then fine tune what I'm looking for, what different sounds or different EQ settings. So hope you like today's stream, and thanks for joining. If you like what I'm doing, please hit subscribe and like, and also visit my website firegardenmusic.com. We have new EP out, Point Blank, featuring Adam Holtzman of his Steven Wilson band and other great musicians. So join, like, and subscribe. I'll be doing these live streams every Tuesday. So leave your comment what you wanna see or learn about me, or any questions you might have, and any song request or anything. And what I'll do, like next week, I'll try to include in my live stream. But it's been fun. I'm doing for some time now, and it's always fun to show you what goes behind the scenes, what's happening. And um, so this Friday, actually, we'll be releasing a new video um, on Firegarden YouTube channel and Facebook. So we'll also uh, and also next week there is another video coming. So there will be a few things we are working on, and now it's actually coming out with it. So I'm looking forward to hear your feedback, and thanks again for joining, and I'll see you next week.